Diamonds on my wrist when I step up on a diamond, 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 diamonds on my wrist when I step up on
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. The Freight Coach Morning Show, the top morning show in transportation, is coming to you live from Phoenix, Arizona on this beautiful Friday, or should we call it Fright Day the 13th? You know, we got Friday the 13th out there for all of you superstition individuals that are out there. Hey, the show, I got a very special guest for you guys today to break down some of the three industry headlines with me and to provide some additional insight for you. So as always, though, before we jump into that, this show is brought to you by my friends over at VHub. You guys, asset reutilization is the wave of the future for trucking companies and brokers alike. You guys, having access to trailers to create a drop trailer pool, amongst other things, is what our shippers are looking for. If you're out there as a pure play broker, or heck, you know what, you're a carrier out there and you have a couple of trailers that are down, VHub has a tool for you to utilize for a short-term or long-term rental option or one-way repositionings. So just as an example, for what we got out there, I'm going to show you this. They have some opportunities right now coming out of Chicago, going up into Toronto, Montreal, as well as over to the Edmonton area and over to Vancouver, British Columbia. And then, as you can see, there's those outbound lanes here. So you can do a one-way reposition up just to come on back down with it as well. So you can keep your carriers running. And then, as you can see, you get paid to do this, you guys. So carriers, if you're listening, you get paid money on top of the freight that you can load in the back of these trailers. So it's a good option for you to keep moving and to help you in any market at the end of the day. And then, as you can see here, we got some lanes that are going up out of Glade Spring, Virginia into Winnipeg, over to Edmonton, and then to Vancouver as well. So again, you get paid $18.50 to move it on top of the freight you booked to put in the back of that trailer. So check it out, you guys. vhubapp.com is who need to hit up. And then my man, Xavier Campos, he is my friend. He's my main point of contact over there. And he is the one to reach out to in that moment. So got a very special guest for you guys today. My friends over at Emerge are joining me today. So I got Mr. Scott Parker on the show. Scott, what's up, brother? How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
No, absolutely, man. Scott, introduce yourself, man. You've been in freight for a while. You're out here on the West Coast with me in Phoenix.
Yeah, we're kind of cutting in and out. Are you receiving me all right?
Yeah, I got you here.
Okay, cool. No, my name is Scott Parker. I'm originally here from Phoenix, Arizona, right here with you here today. Had a small detour in Chicago where I kind of got into the inside here at the Merge, kind of watching this company grow and really kind of take the next steps in this company's future of what we're trying to provide. So very excited to both be here with you and to be back home in Phoenix with the Merge.
No, absolutely, man. And yeah, it's Friday. Friday, as Robert Powell says. Good morning, Robert. Andrew Teal. Yeah, dude, he does. Scott has a majestic flow back going on right now. That is level. That is top tier right there.
Yeah. Well, if you still got it in your mid 30s, I feel like you got to let it, everyone else know about it.
So. Oh, absolutely, man.
I'm doing it because my brother cannot.
Yeah, as we say up in the upper Midwest, man, for that hockey hair, you got to do just an immaculate how to lettuce going on right there.
Right. I was always jealous of my times in Chicago. There was a lot of that rock the flow too. So as long as I look like I played hockey, I'll take it because I cannot skate at all.
That's funny. Yeah, Teal, I got you. Tupac was not rapping about Phoenix. But anyways, you guys, starting Monday, I believe. Hold on. Yeah. No, Tuesday, the 17th through the 19th is International Road Check. All right. We got that emphasis on wheel end components. So get your preventative maintenance scheduled now so you can get out there and keep running. And then heck, if you do get popped by the DOT at the end of the day, you guys, that increases your safety score and increases your overall value out there in the open market and when you're up and running and everything like that. Xavier, happy Friday. Also, day 25, the Freight Coach tally of there being a bathroom issue as well as a parking issue in this industry for our drivers. Again, I will not stop talking about this until there is some meaningful change that is put out there in the industry for it. And it is. We're on the right path with this. We're going to keep talking about these things until we get something out there. Also, national average for gold, aka diesel, is $5.62 a gallon. I don't know what the hell is going to be going on with that, but we're going to stay on top of it. It's up a staggering $2.43 a gallon year over year. Papa Freight, Steven, what's going on, man? Tupac's not West Coast either. He's from Baltimore and adopted. Here we go. East Coast, West Coast rap battle starting early. There we Dan, the driver row from Jasper, Florida. What's going on, Dan? Yeah, so before we jump in, Scott, you guys, Emerge has been a long time supporter of everything that I got going on over here. Them and Trucker Tools were one of the first ones to jump on board and help me in this venture and everything. And I wanted to bring Scott on here today because, again, obviously with their tool, it's not just the RFP that they're there for. They're out there. They want to give our carrier partners that direct access to some shippers. So Scott, can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Nope. Yeah, exactly. We positioned ourselves to really a RFP platform to
Scott, I'm losing you, man. Nope. He's freezing up there. You see, this is what happens, you guys, on Friday the 13th. This is just what happens. You lose a little bit of internet speed. Oh,
are you catching me? Because I kind of cut out there.
Yeah, you were cut out there for about the last 30 seconds, man.
Oh, okay. Where did we leave off, I guess? Because it's been jumping in and out on my end here. I don't know if you're seeing that, but we're jumping in and out over here.
Yeah, I'm seeing you jumping in and yeah, you're frozen right now, actually, as we speak.
We're seeing if we can maybe get a kind of jumping. Let me see what we can figure out around here. Yeah, you catch me all right now?
I got your audio. I got your audio going. Here, let's see.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm going to drop him out here for a second. We'll bring Scott back on as soon as we get all of that up and running. But yeah, I really wanted to talk to them about, let's see here. Oh, there we go. Is that no?
We're back.
Yeah, kind of a little bit.
Seems like it's caught up now. I don't know where it started. The beginning of the conversation, we were fine. So I don't know what just happened here, but it seems like we're caught up now.
No, it's all good. Yeah, it looks like we're caught up now. So yeah, man, let's talk about that. How drivers and everything can get that access to those shippers, man.
Yeah, like I said, so I my entire time in the industry, I've always worked on the truck side, on the carrier focus, and a lot of the brokers and just like Emerge, we have it set up to handle both sides of the business. But my focus has always been the carriers, always been the trucks and the drivers. And what we really want to do in my day-to-day is make sure the carriers are getting access to that freight. And we offer both spot opportunities for them to bid on, as well as contractual business by introducing them to some of these RFPs that are in our system. So our real goal, on the two-sided marketplace type of thing, and my focus is making sure that these carriers get introduced and that we can provide more access to them. They can keep their trucks moving, stay consistent with their revenues, and really provide whatever they're looking for, whether it's a spot or a contract or a one-off load. Come to the marketplace, check it out, see what we have available for you. We're not standard brokerage in which we're trying to hide what we have available. Everything is in our marketplace is visible and live. Really, it's our team's job to get out there and engage with the carriers and say, hey, Emerge is here, check it out, look what we have. So, yeah, more the merrier if you ask us. So, and and log in, and we'll have someone contact you about getting the final steps of getting set up.
No, definitely. And then again, you guys, as always, you can reach out, emergemarket.com/freight coach. You can fill that out or DM me direct. I'll put you in direct contact with my friends over there. You guys, they'll be able to help you guys out and get you guys up and running on that. So with that being said, let's jump into our first article. It is from ttnews.com. Trucking continues to see robust M&A market. Trucking and logistics continues to see strong mergers and acquisition activity, a trend that goes back for more than a year. The deal market has stayed active amid confluence of factors that are motivating buyers and sellers. They include high valuations for motor carriers and expectations interest rates are poised to rise. We've been very pleased with the M&A market through the first 4 months of this year, says Jonathan Britva, a principal at Republic Partners, told Transport Topics. It's been as active as ever. There's obviously some noise out there, a little bit in terms of overall economy and a lot of factors going on, but we have yet to see it affect the deal environment. It also says the Tenney Group CEO, Spencer Tenney, noted sellers are motivated because the high valuations may normalize down the line. That includes equipment costs, which have been favorable for valuing business in the current market because of shortages. Buyers are also motivated to get deals done because of interest rates. So you've seen a lot of this stuff kind of come and go, Scott, out there from an M&A standpoint. What's kind of your general consensus and feedback after reading that article?
I was, reading through it. It had some interesting examples, and I think it, what makes sense is if you're just in the Hirschbach and Kirshner example, talk about companies that were probably competing over business for 30 or 40 or 50 years, trying to get access to some of that same cold storage stuff throughout the Midwest and the country. For companies like that to come together and have an even bigger network and options to provide customers, I think it made a lot of sense. Definitely gets them a bigger control of that. And even talking with going down with what Echo's doing with Roadtex and getting themselves access to more warehouses and storage facilities. So really, it seems, and it's great for these companies to have the ability to just acquire this if they've probably done their due diligence and know that this is going to be the perfect piece to their puzzle, and the ability to just grab it and make it part of their industry, kind of like Transplace and Uber, and just kind of put it part of their company. It's fortunate situations for these companies to be in the power to do that, and instantly, makes them a little bit stronger.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, man. And I think that it's one of those things, like, I think our industry, Andrew Teal put something out there about, contracted business for these smaller carriers and getting on, for contracted rate agreements and everything like that. And to like kind of tie a lot of that in, there's such a need for the smaller carrier because A, they dominate the market. 97% of them are small carriers, but B, I just don't see there's a reason why like the top 10 don't buy each other out, because it's like, you can't really get that much more market share, and it's not really adding that value to their overall bottom line, because if it would, I feel like they would have done it already. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think like that risk factor is very real when you add 20,000 more power units onto your roster of your fleet and everything else. So I think like there's always going to be a thing, but I think like what you'll see though is kind of like those regional players who kind of have a stronghold in the Midwest or the Southeast or the Southwest or something like that. They'll go up and buy that market share just to have their footprint in a market that they, instead of expanding in there, it's just easier to buy an established business in that region, right, and then just expand your operations in that way.
Right. Instantly grow into a different market just by, overnight.
Yeah. And sometimes it's cheaper to do it that way than it is to try and organically build that out. And,
if the company you're acquiring is good at what they're doing, they're good at what they're doing. So
yeah, no, sense. Absolutely, man. I completely get that. Let's see here. I'm just going to get caught up on some of the comments here. Stability at times. Volume has been sticky right now in contract and spot prices drop because of that. Just because you have a contract land doesn't mean you're contractually required to accept a tender. Yeah, that's true. That's one of the worst kept secrets in the industry is contracts are not really contracts at times, sometimes. Vitaly says, I'm biased because of the niche we're in. We run 100 daily small shipments and 1,000 small parcel deliveries. Everything is contract based, and it's always the same carrier assigned, sometimes same drivers. Yeah, it's man, it's interesting. I think that there's a lot. I think if anything in any market though, whether it's a good market or a bad market, somebody's going to be like, I think M&As are never going to, would they slow down? In theory, yeah, they'll slow down. They might just become more strategic. But I think that when the market shift and everything, and then that volatility starts to creep in, of course, people are going to take advantage of if somebody is going out of business or they're running thin and they just want to sell, they're going to take advantage of that stuff. That's just the unfortunate nature of the market.
Which might be something we're seeing, like you said here, and throughout this summer and maybe into Q4, depending on if the trends are what we're seeing still in terms of the freight volume, kind of, I guess, evening back out with the supply. So that is something that I think some carriers are worried about, and how they position their business. The last 3 or 4 years might need to pivot a little bit as we go into a slower time here. So, yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's the first time we've seen an ebb and flow in the industry or in the cycle, though, since pre-pandemic times. But
Yeah.
if anyone's been around for a while, we've all kind of seen how this happens. It just the last few years kind of did the up and to the right the whole time.
No, definitely. And that's the thing, man, is there's an opportunity in any market because the ebbs and the flows are real. And the people who've been around this industry long enough know that it is completely normal for markets to drop, normalize, and everything else. And it's going to be interesting to see. But at the end of the day, there's always an opportunity, no matter what. There's an opportunity in any market. And personally, I think when it flips into the brokers market, like it kind of is right now with Spot, more doors are open with shippers because fucking greed's a real thing, man. And people are going to push it too long. They're going to fail on loads. And then market share opens up for somebody else to come in and swoop that.
Yeah, it really comes down to, and I mean, you just kind of hit it. It really comes down to service from the broker level on in times like this, or even on the carrier level. A lot of people are going to be able to compete and bring their prices down to match what the clients and what the shippers are trying to do. Which you said there, you mentioned that there's no such thing as a real contract. They can always be a caveat to them, but as we see, those contracts go down, we're able to kind of position ourselves and bring the market with us.
Yeah.
But being able to adapt in these situations is kind of what finds your success, and then being able to take advantage when the opportunities you do have. So.
No, absolutely, man. And that article, you guys, was from ttnews.com. Trucking continues to see robust M&A market. Again, check it out. All of these links will be put up there on my YouTube channel, as well as the audio version of this will be available on my podcast platform later on today. Let's see, just getting caught up on some comments here. I think people should underestimate the niche. Yeah, niches get you rich in this industry, straight up. This guy, Chandler McGon, my boy out of Texas, he's all about that niche. M&A might slow down, but the level of accountability and analysis will increase, similar to the richest Texan in the world doing social media company he might buy. I wonder if he means Belon Tusk.
Yeah, I wonder what he's talking about there.
Yeah, we're talking in hyperbole. Yeah. All right, I wanted to touch on the second article here, which is from ccjdigital.com. And this was on how telematics help fleets reduce fuel costs. And then again, this is going to be another one of those how we can kind of tie in what you guys have there and that visibility that's out there to talk about reducing deadhead and everything else. But title of this article is Telematics Helps Fleet Reduce Fuel Costs. Fuel is, I don't know if it's one of the, I would say right now it's the largest expenditure out there. Once upon a time, it says fleets only covered fuel savings during training, but telematics has provided a much more modern scientific approach that gives drivers real-time guidance in the cab. Telematics hardware provider GeoTab, which offers sources of detailed and historical information on fuel trends, as well as monthly fuel reports and usage through its platform, helps fleets increase fuel efficiency and manage fuel costs. It says, even though fuel prices are rocky, using fleet management technology is a good way to minimize vehicles' mile per gallon performance and reduce fuel costs. And then it also goes into saying that it's a help for you to tackle, track, and monitor idling, which is another one of those dead expenses that are out there. My friend Dan, the driver, Rowe, he talks about that all the time, about how drivers are sitting there idling their trucks and everything else. And when it's like fair weather out there and everything else. So and then in this article, I mean, I thought that they broke down a lot of things. And then I wanted to touch on one more thing here, Scott, and then I'll get you up on this. But it's a lot of organizations have idle recommendations or guidelines, but you have no way of really enforcing it. The driver behind the wheel, idling is definitely saving money on fuel, but you can also save the environment because driver behavior is kind of a similar effect. When drivers are driving the right speed, not excessive braking, accelerating, and so forth, it becomes more affordable, less fuel is consumed, and there's less of an impact on they're really pushing the environment in this article. That wasn't a green pitch there, you guys. I must have skimmed over those mentions.
I caught that at the end too. And it's like, it's nice that it's good that we're thinking about it overall. but it is kind of a moot point with some of the stuff we're doing when we're running, 45,000 pounds in the back of a truck over mountains. So there's its limitations on how much we can actually achieve in that aspect.
Yeah, that wasn't a push for the green movement there, guys. I promise. I was just apparently those are just the parts that I chose to highlight it. But I mean, it was I wanted, because there are so many of those little things that drivers can do, because it's not always about, like, again, we can't control at scale what fuel is going to cost, but like, what can we control? And it's like the overall performance of our vehicle, are reducing idling time, and then sitting out there looking into APU units, if you can afford them, and everything else. I know, but that's a solid investment. I think I had a guy on my podcast a couple of weeks ago, we're talking about that, where it's like $10,000 to $15,000, but what it saves you in the longevity of it.
Well, the overall takeaway I would from that is that it just promotes good driving behavior. And what you kind of hit on is like, what are the factors you actually can control? So much of it is out of your control as a driver, but if you're able to get real-time like metrics on, hey, if you do this, you take this turn at this speed, you idle at these times, you can be most efficient with your fuel. It also hit on there on promoting safer driving as well. So if more fuel efficient driving also promotes safer driving, I think this is all important information to be giving drivers in real time and to be monitoring. We have access to monitor even, I think, like, Allstate or some of the basic insurance on your good driving records or whatever that commercial is. We have access to track this stuff. Like, why not? Especially if what it's promoting in this sense is, fuel efficiency, which is super important for the cost and, your bottom line. But if environmental concerns as well. But like I said, I think the biggest factor, if this also promotes how to drive safe. And we have a ton of these trucks on the road, and they are hauling heavy stuff, and it's a bunch of total weight. And the safer the drivers we have, the better the overall road conditions can be for all of us out there sharing it with them. So keeping in mind that drivers are still behind the wheels of trucks, and that's something I constantly having to remind people. Like when you brought up earlier with the bathroom situation, is we're still dealing with the human being in the back of the truck. Driver safety and making sure we're taking care of this important job is super important to me. So that's kind of the biggest takeaway I have there is if we have access on how to promote better fuel efficiency is great, but if it promotes a safer road for everyone, I think that's the real win.
No, and that's the thing is like, it's just needing more access to this information, because like at the end of the day, it's nobody's responsibility but the business owner to learn how to be a more profitable operation. But as an industry collectively, we can do a better job of promoting best practices, because I think that that's something that has not been done well at all. And at least in my experience in the industry is, we need to put that information out there for people. And again, it's like, hey, as long as we're doing our part through education, people can break it down and apply it as much as they want. But I think that has been so secretive, because everybody for the longest time thought that they had some secret sauce for how all of this shit works. And that's just couldn't be further from the truth. So it's like, it is talking about putting those best practices out there for drivers, because I want safer roads. I want our drivers to be safer on the road. Hell, when I have my family in my car, I want us to be safer on the road as well.
Exactly. We're all sharing it with them. It's not like we're getting away from using them. We're going to be on the roads with them for as far as I can see it. So
yeah, in our lifetime. I mean, I know he's got automatics control. Oh yeah, definitely. I could see that when they shifted from manual to automatic transmissions and everything.
That can help too, but I'm sure that comes with certain challenges for the drivers as well.
No, definitely. Well, that article, you guys, was out there on ccjdigital.com. Telematics help fleets reduce fuel costs. Check it out. I wanted to save this one for last, because this one was from thetrucker.com, and it was the FMCSA shuts down Texas carrier after repeated safety violations. And before I start talking about this, I know that reincarnated carriers is a very real issue, where, I mean, just that guy in Colorado earlier or late last year that hit and killed all those people, that carrier ceased operations the next day and was instantly in business under a brand new authority. Like, how does that shit happen? How is that allowed? Like, the FMCSA has to do better. Like, there has to be something better that we can do as an industry.
Yeah, and I don't want to. I wouldn't want to step over any line here and how that is working. But you're right. It is been. It is and still is a problem. We still are finding ourselves in a situation though where there doesn't. Maybe we'll see this throughout the year change. But in the last few years, I can only imagine that the reincarnated carriers came up even more. I imagine multiple MCs were running often, and I imagine less experienced drivers were on the road due to just a higher. We needed more trucks, and we've always been in a driver shortage since I've gotten into the industry. But you combine kind of some of those factors, and you bring in good old fashioned human, not greed, but the ability to chase the dollar. You start making some decisions that maybe are leading to some of those terrible, accidents that they frankly take place way less than you'd assume. But when they do, they're always a big deal. And then, when you find out that there was something not great behind it, whether the driver was out of hours or whatever it was. I mean, wasn't it years ago when Tracy Morgan got hit by a truck out in LA and the driver was like in Arkansas the night before or something, and he hadn't stopped. So, you start making decisions based off just profit, and you're taking out some of the other considerations. It's good that FMCSA is out there to catch it. Could there be better ways of stopping it? Our compliance team tries to catch that by catching the same numbers and phone numbers and whatnot. But it's not hard to re-switch it and float all the assets under another MC. At the same time, though, if there wasn't someone willing to give them business, then there'd be no need for them to take that move.
Yeah, and that's the thing is it's like, because I mean, you're talking about here, the company that they shut down is a company called JPER Logistics, found that the motor carrier had egregious non-compliant with multiple federal safety regulations, including controlled substance and alcohol abuse, commercial driver's license standards, driver qualifications, unsafe driving, hours of service drivers, and vehicle, like the list for me, it was just like, at what point, what constitutes an egregious violation, and why isn't one egregious violations in like some of those? Because I feel like if you're when it comes to drugs and alcohol, if you have an egregious, like, you should instantly be fucking shut down. The driver should be shut down, and like something's got to happen. Because like the thing is that I found is those companies, like, yes, there are instances where there's one driver, they can put that driver out of service, they can show that driver's out of service, and unfortunately that happens. But when it gets to that level, where it's an agreed, that means it's like fucking every week they're getting busted for something.
It kind of hit every category as well, right? It wasn't just poor driver activity. It was also their vehicles weren't maintained. So like I said, though, if there wasn't a need for them to continuously run that because there was business for them to take and there was no one really oversight on it. You call it greed, but you could call it, profits.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I agree that it's something that when you come to the drug and alcohol and you come to unsafe driving, like I said, that was a good transition from the last article. It's like, we're sharing these roads. If we have someone with 80,000 pounds behind them and they're some sort of impaired, we need to take that kind of stuff seriously.
Yeah, because it said, I mean, here's the thing, you guys, it wasn't just a one time or two. 6. They allowed 6 drivers who were prohibited to drive by the FMCSA.
Right.
6. So again,
you'll also notice like what their fines were, though. I mean, I'm 30,000, 12,000, 17,000. That's, how many rate cons have I sent off in the last year and a half that had 5 digits on it? So some of the fines don't seem to be even what they are compared to the profits that were kind of getting brought in. That risk versus reward conversation was maybe just stretched a little thin in that scenario.
No, I agree. And it's like, I just think like there has to be a way that I would love for the FMCSA to take this and put together some sort of standard. Cause I'm not like, hey, shit happens. All right. Like whether it's a drive, like instances happen, but again, it's a pattern. If it happens more than twice, I would give it,
Right. What kind of checks are in place if it's happening that often? Right.
And it's the reincarnated carrier approach that really bugs me, because I guarantee I didn't do this and I should have prior, but I guarantee that JPER Logistics is reincarnated and operating under a different authority at this point. Unfortunately, I would almost guarantee it. I can't prove it, but I would almost guarantee that that's what's happening.
There's probably a strong chance of that.
Yeah.
In my experience as well.
I got you. That one, you guys, was from the trucker.com. FMCSA shuts down Texas carrier after repeated safety violations. Again, check all that out. I post all the links for you guys to read all of that stuff. Scott, so like what I want to kind of close out with this. For any of those carriers out there that are looking for that direct access to freight right now, that setup process, is there like, do they have to have their authority for like 6 months? What does that qualification look like to be able to get on?
We have 6 months with 2 roadside inspections or 12 months continuous. Gives access to the marketplace. We also have a compliance department to double check some of these things against Safer Sys or FMCSA, and carrier 411 and all that stuff. But yeah, setup process is easy. You just go to the website, sign up as a carrier. You get your MC logged in. It'll get access, notify someone on our team to reach out and help you fill out the compliance packets. And, once you have all of that done, we really give full access into the marketplace. Like I said, you kind of hit on it earlier where everyone kind of thought they had like a secret sauce and, you can hide what kind of freight you have access to, or you don't want to show full visibility for whatever reason. And we're trying to kind of put that on its head a little bit and say, no, here is full visibility. So, if you sign up, get logged in, you'll have full access to our spot marketplace, full access to our contract marketplace. Now, in both of those, there's a combination of live freight in which you're bidding on and which freight can get tendered over immediately. So we have a book it now functionality in the spot, but we also have the opportunity to participate live in the spot market with some of those shippers' other network partners. And that opportunity is also available for those carriers who want to take a look at a contractor basis or more consistent. Now, contract can be a scary word as things are moving, but these are not full year contracts always. We have multiple events always live going on. Our events are our different bids, and they can have really any timeline of how long that length of contract is. We have month-long mini bids. We have quarter-long opportunities based off shipper needs. We also have some of those year-long RFPs to participate in. So kind of pick what works with in your network the most, or what you're looking for, and we hopefully can provide it for you. We're also still we're getting up and running. We're growing quickly. So if it's something that's not there yet, keep coming back. We'll set up our lane alerts and get access to when that freight does hit the board. But really the idea is to get visibility for those carriers to just say, hey, here's what's available for me. Let me make this decision quickly for my business. Whether it's something I want to do right now and move on, and I'll take my chances tomorrow on the spot board, or maybe I need to think about that one driver I always have stuck, Thursday and Friday in Denver, and I really need to get him home. Maybe someone has 1 or 2 loads a week that I can work out and just lock up something consistent like on that. So, trying to provide everything really, like I said, on my side of things. I've always dealt with carriers. I'm trying to build a marketplace for the carriers. I encourage feedback on how this marketplace is working. We are ultimately trying to build a platform for them, not for our brokers or anyone in the office to manually use. We want this to be something that carriers are actively using. And we have that comfort support of my entire, office of staff here to answer any questions and smooth things over. Because as we know, you can't just set things and forget it. In our industry, there is still an aspect of how to A to B and operational, how to get it there. And so we provide that support and that guidance when you call in. We have a staff 24/7 as well. So really trying to provide that, whatever that carrier is looking for. I know every carrier has different needs or different parts of their organizations are looking for, one-off situations or something more consistent. Hopefully we have something that's in there for you.
That's it, you guys. And moving forward through any market, that consistency is key. As my old man always said, he owned his own company for 40 years. If his wheels ain't turning, he ain't earning. So look into this, you guys. Check them out. Reach out to Emerge Direct. You can reach out to them through me. I can put you in contact with my friends over there as well. You guys, again, like the people that we're partnered with over here at the Freight Coach, it's all about keeping people profitable in business and running. They're concerned about that 97%. I'm concerned about that 97%, the ones that need to work together. And that's what it's about, you guys. We're about education and we're about progress here. So I appreciate you guys. That's it for this week. Scott, thanks for joining me again. You guys, this is the Freight Coach Morning Show. We are the top morning show in freight, coming to you live every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down 3 industry headlines. The audio version will be available on the podcast later on today. You can see this replay on my YouTube channel as well. Make sure you subscribe and share this out if you see value in it, because if you see value in it, chances are your network's going to see value in it as well. I appreciate you guys all so much. We'll be talking to you soon. And now here's